Welcome to Healing Path Yoga. Today we're going to start with a breathing practice to help strengthen our lungs. And of course, that's very important during this time of COVID-19. We want our lungs and our breathing to be as strong as possible, just in case. And in fact, in April of last year, wow, the whole lockdown pandemic thing had just started. Several videos appeared from doctors in the UK and the US recommending specific breathing techniques for patients with COVID-19. And there was actually a hospital in the UK that was using it for patients with COVID-19 respiratory symptoms in an attempt to improve lung function and keep them off a ventilator. And then there was also a US-based doctor that suggested that healthy people might start practicing this technique as well as a potential preventative strategy. So that's what we're going to learn and practice today. So I invite you to find a way of sitting tall. So whether you're sitting on your yoga mat and a cushion on the ground, or you can also do this sitting in a straight back chair, but you don't want to be leaning back. You want to have, you're sitting up tall so that you have lots of space in your rib cage and your belly. So go ahead and make yourself comfortable, where that is for you. If you're sitting in a chair, you want to have your feet resting on the ground, that sense of steadiness and groundedness. And just take a moment to arrive fully on your mat, on your chair. Maybe start with a few deep cleansing breaths. So breathing in deeply and just feel how your lungs can expand. And then as you exhale, that sense of just softening. And again, inhaling to your full capacity for now. And exhaling. One more on your own timing. As you exhale, feel that sense of your body settling into your cushion or your chair. And at the same time as you inhale, feel yourself lengthening up through your spine, right through the crown of the head. Let your shoulders relax. Release any tension in your jaw or your eyes, your face. And so it's important before we start this breathing practice, which involves some counting, to just settle into your natural breath. And just be really comfortable in that rhythm. And so as you breathe in, feeling your belly, and your rib cage, and your chest expand. As you breathe out, that sense again of settling and emptying of the lungs. Continue each time you exhale to soften and release any tension you might notice in your body. Letting go of any judgment. Just being kind to yourself this morning in your practice. Time for self-care. Time to relax and focus inwards. And just noticing the quality of your breath. The in-breath and the out-breath. So this breathing practice involves a count, and we're going to start with counting to 5 as we breathe in. And then there's a holding at the top of the inhale, so the lungs are full. It gives the lungs time to fully absorb that oxygen. So we're going to hold for 5 counts at the top of the inhale, and then we're going to exhale for 5 counts. And so we're going to do 6 rounds of that, and then we're going to stop and give a little cough to clear our lungs. So this is the practice they're using in the hospitals. So I'm going to count the first round of breaths for you. And we're actually going to start with a cleansing breath. So this breath is usually done in and out through the nostrils. With a cleansing breath, you start by inhaling through the nostrils and then exhale through the mouth. So let's try that right now. Take a deep breath in to your fullest capacity. And then exhale, it's almost like a sigh. And then you're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. Last breath, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. And now cough into your sleeve 2 times. Just to release any mucus. And just take a moment to perhaps close your eyes if you have opened them. Just tune into your breath and how your body feels. You may have noticed that the breath kind of smooths and evens out with this breath. So we'll do one more set of 6 breaths. I'm going to let you count on your own this time. Yeah, this time. So again, just starting with that counting to 5 as you breathe in, holding for 5, and out for 5 with that slight pause in between. So going ahead on your own timing. Stay relaxed in your face. Keep the breath smooth and easy. And finishing off your last cycle of breath and your cough. And then again, just sit for a moment, observe the effects, the calming effect on the nervous system. Maybe feeling like your lungs have a little bit more space, a little larger. And so again, as I mentioned, when we hold our breath at the end of the inhale, it gives the lungs and the alveoli just longer to absorb the oxygen from the breath. And then, of course, the intentional coughing helps to release any mucus that might be there. So the second part of this practice is posture based, and it's based on the practice in hospitals and healthcare of proning, that is turning a patient onto their stomach and maybe propping them up with a bit of a pillow so that it actually opens up the back of the lungs. Because when someone is lying around too long on their backs, it's like everything pools into the back of the lungs, and the lungs actually can collapse a little tiny bit. So this practice of proning helps to strengthen the back and also to allow us to breathe more easily into the back part of the lungs. So we have several postures in yoga that are similar to proning. One is cobra, one is sphinx when we put our forearms on the ground. So we're going to start with sphinx this morning. So we're going to get down onto our yoga mats now. And you're going to start by lying on your belly. So this is based on a yin pose. So you'll be holding this pose for a couple minutes. See if I can aim this camera right. So coming down onto your forearms. And if you can, it's nice to have your elbows right underneath your shoulders. If that's a little bit pinchy in your back, then walk your elbows forward so you're not going to have as much of a curve in your back. So find what's right for you. And you're really meant to rest into this pose, and you might want to just wiggle your hips and your pelvis from side to side for a moment. So that'll release through the front of the thighs and the hip flexors. Let your feet relax. And make sure there's no tightening in the glutes, in the buttocks. So allow the bum to be soft. Now, if you're feeling like you need a little bit more support in this pose, then use a cushion or a pillow underneath the rib cage there. And it'll just give you a little bit more support here. And then just allow the head to stay nice and centered over your spine. And have a sense of just relaxing into the pose as much as possible. And yet at the same time, feeling that sense of beautiful extension through the spine, right through the top of the head. And you want to take fairly deep breaths in this pose. So breathing into the belly, and you might find that the belly has a little bit of resistance from the ground, and this actually helps to strengthen the lungs as well, to have a little bit of resistance to breathe into. And think about broadening across the collarbones in the front. I like to think of a big smiley face in my heart center. So just allow your heart center to smile. And keep the facial muscles relaxed. Continue to take those deep breaths. This is also a good way to strengthen your back muscles, to avoid those slouchy postures we get. So if you find you slouch a lot, this is a nice way of starting to slowly correct the slumpasana, as we call it, the slump. And also, if you have disc problems, you've been told that you have bulging discs, this is a pose that will help just get those discs back into place in your spine. So it's a nice way of beginning to deal with some of the back problems. So feeling your breath, and as I mentioned, you want to think about feeling the breath in your back body. So imagine breathing more into the back of your lungs and in the activeness of this back bend. Breathe into the backs of your lungs. Remember to keep the pelvis and the legs relaxed so that it's our back muscles that have to do the work here. So let's take one more breath in. We're going to exhale, and you can remove the pillow if you're using it. Now we do a little bit of a recovery pose here. It's called resting warrior. So just stacking one hand on top of the other, bending your right knee out to the side. And so your pelvis will kind of tilt a little bit. And then resting your head with your head turned to the right here. You might want to take a deeper cleansing breath here, inhaling through your nose and exhale. Just let everything release. It's a really nice release for the lower back and the sacrum here after the work you've done. Once more, be aware of the feeling of the breath in the belly as it presses into the resistance of the ground. Deeper breaths if you can. And you might also feel a little bit of a stretch through the inner groin area as well here. So breathe and soften into that. Again, let go of that holding or tensing through the glutes. Your whole body just kind of feel like it's melting to the ground. right, you're gonna just gently slide that leg back. Place your hands underneath your shoulders. Help yourself back, and it might feel really good to press yourself back into an active form of child's pose. Maybe just kind of wiggle your hips from side to side. Feel a stretch through your rib cage. All right, so we're going to come to a standing position now. So if you have socks on, you might want to take your socks off. I know on a cold day, it's nice to keep our socks on. So it's nice to have that connection to the ground. All right, so finding the pose of the mountain, Tadasana. So your feet are about hip width apart and parallel. So you have that sense of your hips stacked over your knees, stacked over your heels and your ankles. And you might want to give your shoulders a little bit of a roll. Just allow the arms to relax by your sides. Feel your head in line with your spine. And after that back bending pose, you should feel that lovely openness across the collarbones in your heart center, your shoulders open. And reconnect to that feeling of your smooth breath. And then turn your palms open for a moment. Now, there's no sun out here in Lethbridge at the moment, but let's imagine there's that beautiful blue open sky and the sun is shining, and imagine that sun shining right into your heart center, and then that light expanding across your shoulders into your arms and sparkling off your fingertips this morning, warming your heart, warming your soul. We'll move into some mini sun breaths. So it's a circular movement. So inhale, reach up into the sky, bring the palms together. And as you exhale, drawing that light right down through the central axis of your body. And then we're going to reverse that. So inhale, we go back up towards the sky, and then exhale as we circle around. So that's the full expansion there. So inhale, fill those lungs. Again, these stretches are good for our lungs as well. Exhale as you draw that light down into your being. Inhale, stretch up all the way from your feet to your fingertips. And exhale. Good. Let's do a couple more. Inhale, circular light. Exhale as you draw that light down. Inhale, stretching up. And if you can follow your hands with your gaze. So you're looking up and then exhaling back to center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, stretch up. Imagine your lungs filling completely. Exhale as you draw the light down the central axis of your body. And then inhale, stretching all the way up. Reach, and then exhale. Beautiful. Give your shoulders a little bit of a roll, maybe a little shimmy and wiggle through your hips. And now starting to move into the breath of joy. And we're going to start just with your arms to begin with. And we're going to start slowly, and then we're going to speed up and make it more vigorous. So the breath of joy is another great way of exercising our lungs. So to begin with, it's simply to inhale your arms up, palms face in, and as you exhale, releasing down. And pay attention to, what does this feel like in my body? What does this feel like in my shoulders? Inhaling, exhaling down. A couple more, and then we'll add some bent knees. So inhale, stretch up, exhaling down. And again, inhaling up. And as you exhale, bend your knees and release back. And then inhale, stretching up, almost a back bend, exhale. Now in this breath of joy, you can inhale through your nostrils and exhale through your mouth, especially as we get a little bit more vigorous. So inhaling, exhale. Inhale. So it's a sniffing action. Remember to bend your knees nice and generously. So it's inhale. Keep going. Again, you can go at your own time and rhythm, but this is meant to be fairly vigorous. Keep going a few more rounds. If at any time you feel like you're getting dizzy or hyperventilating, then of course stop. Traditionally in yoga, we would do this 108 times. I think we're about halfway there now. And we're just going to do 2 more. And then this is the best part. Just stand in stillness for a moment. Feel your breath. It's probably sped up. But feel how you've kind of awoken the energy in your body. There's this aliveness. And come back to that nice smooth breath. Feel the solidness of the ground beneath your feet. Feel a lengthening up through your spine. And feel the spaciousness of the sky above. And so here you are, taking your place between heaven and earth, fully present, fully alive. So let's take this aliveness down onto our mats. We've been doing a lot of poses for the hips and the sacrum in our practice. So you're going to start by just sitting with your knees bent and your feet on the ground. So again, it's going to take a while for, again, our body to slow down after that active breath of joy. Let's take a few moments here. Continue to notice the effects on your body. Relax and release any tension that you find. Shoulders, back, hips, face. So now you're going to just gently slide your feet over towards the right. And I see I need to let somebody in, so just hold on a minute there. So you're going to lean back. It'll be easiest to do if you're leaning back, but you kind of got crazy legs. So hopefully there's no pain in your knees. If you've had knee surgery and this is painful for you, then I would suggest just doing this. We'll try it with your legs just extended out in front of you. But we want to get deep into the hip, and we want to find some pelvic tilts here to begin to get deep into the joint. So it's just like you're leaning back. We're going to focus on this right hip here. So as you inhale, you're pressing the hip forward and up. And as you exhale, it settles back down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, back down. So it's this rolling action through the hips and the pelvis. And it's a really important action for our pelvis to be able to make both the anterior tilt and the posterior tilt. Quite often we kind of get quite locked in our pelvis. So anything that we can do, these pelvic tilting really helps us. All right, so we're going to add an arm movement here, and it's going to be a half circle with your right arm. So as you inhale, tracing a half circle up and stretch. As you exhale, you're tracing that circle back down, pelvis releases down. Inhale, stretching up, and exhale, settling back down. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, feel that lovely stretch through the side body, and then exhale as you release down. Let's do two more. Inhale, lungs and ribs expand. Exhale, releasing. Last time, and we're going to hold in this extended position, but not holding your breath. So you feel a lovely stretch down that right side of your body, that back of the right hip is lifting, and even see if you can find a little bit of a back bend. So lift up through the rib cage, lift up through your heart center and your sternum, look upwards. Breathe, imagine that blue sky beyond the clouds this morning. Take one more breath and exhale as you release back down. Now see if you can come more to an upright position with both sit bones equally balanced, and then we'll just take a little bit of a twist. So you're going to exhale, take that right hand to your left knee, and then the head just naturally turns as well. The shoulders relax. Let the chest and the collarbone stay broad. And be with whatever sensation you find in your body. Maybe there's an achiness through the hip. Maybe there's something that you're noticing. There's some constriction. Get curious about it. Breathe into it. But of course, if you're finding any pain in your body, please release out of it. So twist a little bit more if you can. And then slowly exhale as you come back to center. And lean back, stretch your legs out. Shake and wiggle a bit. And then bending your knees. And let's just stay here for a breath or two just to reestablish balance and calmness. Reconnecting back to the breath. And then sliding your feet over to the left this time. And you'll notice I'm not stacking my legs on top. I've got that right foot by the left knee there, and then leaning back. That usually makes it a little bit more accessible for us to lean back in this pose. Remember, if you have knee pain, to please extend your legs. We're going to start that pelvic tilting again as you inhale, lifting the left hip up, and exhale, rolling it back down. Inhale, press forward and up. Exhale. Remember to stay in a comfortable range of motion. If it feels too much to press too much, then maybe just find a little tiny roll forwards and back. So we always adjust these postures and these movements for what's right for our body. Yoga meets us where we are if we allow it to. Last time before we add that back arm, so left arm, inhale, it sweeps up in a half circle. Exhale as it sweeps back down. Inhale. So we get this lovely synchronization of movement and breath. It's smooth and easy. Same thing here. If it's too much to do the full movement, maybe it's just a really small movement in front of you. So adjust, listen to your body. Last time, and then we're going to hold in that lovely long stretch. Again, a nice lengthening through the entire left side of your body. If it feels all right for you, see if you can lift from the heart center and find a little bit of a back bend in the pose. So we are focusing on more back bending poses this morning. Notice if the breath gets stuck, or notice where the energy gets stuck, and breathe and soften into it. Let go of trying too hard or straining. We're going to take one more breath, and then as you exhale, rolling back down. See if you can come on back to center so you feel evenly balanced. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, taking your left hand to your right knee. Head is turned. So if you can also do this in the straight leg version as well. So again, finding what's right for your body. And feel the movements of the breath. Feel how it enhances the stretch. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale as you find a little bit more rotation somewhere in your back or your spine. Shoulders stay relaxed and back. And you have that little bubble of lift in your heart center. Soften your face, relax your jaw, soften the eyes. All those tiny, subtle places where attention creeps in to be aware of. One more breath. And as you exhale, slowly coming back to center. Go ahead and extend both legs, kind of wiggle out a little bit. All right, so we're going to move into another back bending pose. This is supported bridge pose. And as I mentioned at the beginning of class, you'll need some kind of block or something to set your pelvis on. You could also use, it's good to have a hard surface, but you could also use a firm cushion or even a small bolster here. So I just want you to have that ready, and then we'll get into the position. So have it by the side of your mat, and then lie down on your back with your knees bent and your feet hip width apart and parallel. Rest the back of your skull into the ground here. Let's take a few moments just to breathe into this new posture. Let your body adjust. Roll your shoulders under so that you have that nice expansion in the heart center still. Feel your feet gently resting on the ground. Feel the breath in your belly. And now we're going to exaggerate that feeling of the breath in the belly to find some pelvic tilts again. So as you inhale, belly expands, lower back arches a bit. As you exhale, pressing the belly button towards the spine and the lower back presses into the mat. Inhale, belly expands, let that movement roll through the hips and the pelvis. Exhale as you imprint the lower back. So you've got this rolling wave-like action moving through the hips and the pelvis. And now we're going to take that into lifting into bridge pose. So inhaling the breath, exhale, press the lower back down, and then on your next inhale, press into your feet, lifting the pelvis away from the ground, and exhale, rolling back down. Let's continue to lift as you inhale, pressing your feet into the ground, pelvis lifts, tailbone lengthens. Exhale, setting the pelvis back down. Now remember from last week, you want to keep your thighs parallel. So don't let the knees splay out to the side because that will bring compression into the lower back. So a couple more times. Inhale, lifting the pelvis. Exhale, setting it back down. And the last time, so have your block ready. Inhale, lifting the pelvis, sliding the flat surface of your block underneath your pelvis. So you want it supporting the pelvis. It should feel nice and solid. Make sure that it's not up too high. So you don't want it up so high in the lower back. You want it right underneath the sacrum. Actually, the sacrum is the triangular bone at the base of your spine that helps to connect both sides of the hips together. Take a moment to readjust, roll your shoulders under. And so in this version of bridge pose, we don't have to press with our feet anymore. The feet are just resting gently on the ground, because what we actually want to happen is for the full weight of your pelvis to release into the surface of the block. And this is a really nice way of releasing the SI joints, which can get tight, those little dimple spaces in the back of your pelvis. And just allowing the sacrum to begin to settle as well. So just resting here in this supported bridge pose for a moment and really focusing on relaxing your buttocks. Allow the weight of your pelvis to release into the support of the block. Continuing to feel your breath. And then I'm wanting to just read a little bit about the sacrum and how important it is to our center of gravity and to our balance. I'm reading from a book called Yoga of the Subtle Body by T.S. Little. He says, I like to think of the sacrum as the computer chip to the buttocks, legs, and feet, because it is the nexus for the many nerve tracts that traverse the pelvis into the legs. In this regard, we can imagine how the intelligence of the legs is governed by operations within the sacrum. So there's something about this connection between the sacrum and our legs. And the largest of these tracts is the sciatic nerve. Now, anybody that's had sciatica knows how painful that can be. The sciatic nerve is a bundle of nerve roots that emerges through the sciatic archway of the lower pelvis. Too large to exit only one segment of the spine, it emerges from the lower lumbar vertebra and sacrum before it transits down into the leg. Given that the cluster of nerves emerging from the sacrum is so extensive, it is valuable to stretch and create space within the sacrum to allow for uninhibited neurological flow. So as you're relaxing the back of your pelvis into this block, you're actually just relaxing and creating space in the sacrum. Most anatomists agree that the second sacral segment is the body's center of gravity. Not only is the sacrum the hub of the physical self, but it is also invested with the energy of the psyche. This is reflected in the name of the sacral chakra in Sanskrit, Svadhisthana. The prefix sva means self or one's own, and sthana suggests that which is established, stable, or secure. Thus, the sacrum implies self-possession, self-empowerment, and self-strength. Again, continuing to feel that sense of the sacrum. So we're going to add a little bit of a walking movement here, but it's a really tiny movement that's just going to increase some movement in the sacral area. So you're still resting with that block underneath your pelvis. By the way, if at any time you start to feel some pain, please give yourself permission to come out. But for now, I'm just going to lift one foot just barely off the ground and then release it back down. And then switch to the other side. You'll notice that the weight releases to that side you're lifting a little bit, and it's going to release the SI joints in a really nice way. So it's like it's a slow walking movement, but just lifting one foot at a time. You can do it with your breath. Inhale, lifting one foot. Exhale, releasing down. Try not to let your pelvis waddle too much from side to side. Try to keep it in a fairly neutral position. And feel what's happening in the pelvis. Feel what's happening in the hip sockets. Leg stays heavy. Sometimes these tiny, subtle movements are the most effective for releasing some of that deep tissue tightness in our muscles and connective tissue. Let's do one more time, each side. And just let both feet rest on the ground for a moment. Deep centering breath all the way in, all the way out. See, the other benefit of bridge pose, especially this resting bridge pose, is that it helps recreate or maintain the curve of our lumbar spine. Sometimes it gets flattened out, so you want to feel that lovely curve in your lumbar spine. Now, depending on what your body needs, you can either take a break and remove the block, or we can progress it a little tiny bit, lifting both feet off the ground till the knees are directly over top of your hips, and let your heels dangle back towards the bum and the back of your thighs here. So you're going to feel more of a weight bearing from the sense of the thigh bone as it rests back into the pelvis here. So again, try to stay nice and relaxed in this pose, breathing easily. Continuing to feel the weight of the back of your pelvis just settling into the block. You can even do this, if the block has caused some pain for you, just do it with your knees bent and your pelvis resting on the ground. Again, I want to read just a little bit more about the role of the sacrum. Structurally, the sacrum plays a critical role in movement. Without a firm sense of center within the sacrum, the professional figure skater could not spin and leap, nor could the ballerina do a grand jeté across the stage. In a lot of yoga poses, the sacrum within the pelvic girdle is the fulcrum for lift, levity, and balance. Having an established center of gravity in the sacrum is not only a resource for physical balance within the musculoskeletal structure, it is critical for helping to regulate neural, digestive, and endocrine function. When we say that someone is out of their center, we really mean to say they have temporarily lost connection to their sacrum. The sacrum is known as the sacred bone. It's the center of our being. When a body is under a lot of stress, a felt sense of equilibrium is lost, and feelings of agitation can creep upward and lodge in the gut, in the solar plexus, in the shoulders, or in the neck. Emotional upheaval and repeated cycles of fear and irritability can divorce people from connecting to their true foundation. Practices like yoga and Tai Chi help us become grounded in our sacrum and thereby maintain a lower center of gravity. A cultivated low center of gravity has a settling effect on the pranic body. The pranic body is our subtle energetic body. In the meditative traditions, when the chi or prana pools into the sacral center, a calm alertness pervades the entire body. So allowing this sense of settling into the sacrum helps to create that steady sense of alertness. So if you haven't already, please release your feet back down to the ground. And then press your feet into the ground, lift the pelvis up, and slide the block out from underneath you. And then set the pelvis back down. And your impulse will probably be a nice hug of the knees in towards you. And so just feel that lovely movement. Maybe rock a little bit from side to side, or circle, massaging out those tender places in your back and your spine. And then coming back to center, and just to really get into the SI joints here, place your palms on the fronts of your knees, and then gently circle out in opposite directions. So both knees are tracing their own separate circle. And this gets deep into the hip sockets, deep into the SI joints, with that nice feeling of pressure behind the back of the pelvis. And then switch direction of your circles, out first and back in and around. All right, set your feet to the ground, and how quickly our class goes, because it's time for our Yoga Nidra practice, our practice of that sweet, letting go and relaxation. So please get yourself ready. You're lying on the floor in Shavasana or lying on an easy chair. Lying in your bed is okay, although usually we associate that hopefully with sleep. So we often fall asleep if we do this, our Yoga Nidra practice, lying in a bed. So doing all the small things to make yourself comfortable. If you have a achy lower back, place a bolster or cushion behind your knees as your legs are stretched out. Remember to roll your shoulders under. We want to maintain that beautiful sense of openness in our heart center and your rib cage in your belly this morning. Covering yourself with a blanket to maintain that warmth and to keep all that energy inwards. You might need a cushion or a pillow behind your head is nice. Feel your head in line with your spine. And so this posture of Shavasana, legs stretched out, arms stretched out, spine in line. Shavasana is a posture of letting go, corpse pose. A sense of returning and releasing back to the earth. So take a deep breath all the way in. And as you exhale, feel a sense of surrender. Surrender back to the earth. Surrender to your breath. Bring back to a sense of just letting go. And as you continue to settle into this posture, into this practice, a poem about letting go by Reverend Sapphire Rose called She Let Go. She let go without a thought or a word. She just let go. She let go of the fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all the right reasons. Wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry, she just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't search the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all the memories that held her back. She let go of all the anxiety that kept her from moving forwards. She let go of the planning and all of the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her schedule. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyze whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter a single word. She just let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort, no struggle. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was what it was, and it is just that. And in the space of letting go, she let it all be. And a small smile came over her face. A light breeze blew through her, and the sun and the moon shone forevermore. And so, without struggle or thinking, just let go. On an out breath, feel the weight of your body just letting go. Allow yourself to be held by the earth, by this practice of Shavasana. And feel the softness of your breath as it ripples through the front of your body. And as you exhale, imagine the front of your body melting into the back of your body. Imagine your inner organs all settling into the back of your body. Even the blood and the fluid settling into the back of the body. And then feel into the back of your body and allow it now to soften into the surface you're lying on. Down through the foundation of your home. Down into the waiting arms of Mother Earth. You might even imagine sending roots down through the back of your body into the earth. Continue to feel the rise and fall of your breath. And then adding a little bit of progressive relaxation where we squeeze and release different areas of the body that encourages a deeper letting go on a muscular basis. So bring awareness to the feeling of your legs and your feet. On your next inhale, point your toes and feel all the muscles squeeze to the bone. And as you exhale, relax all those muscles. And do that one more time. Inhale, you can point or flex your feet. Feel all those muscles activate and squeeze. And as you exhale, just that feeling of release. Keeping your legs relaxed now. And sending the relaxing power of the breath down your legs. So inhale as the belly expands. Exhale, send that healing, relaxing energy down your legs and out through the bottom soles of the feet. And continue to do that on your own timing. Feel the breath gently brushing away any remaining tension, fatigue, or discomfort in your legs and your feet. Feel your legs becoming heavy and relaxed as they let go of tension. And now bring awareness to your shoulders, your arms, and your hands. On your next inhale, make a fist and straighten the arms, squeeze all the muscles. And as you exhale, gently open the hand and release. Feel that release. Do that one more time. Inhale, squeeze and make a fist. Feel all the tension all the way right up into your shoulders. And as you exhale, gently open your hands and release. Symbolically letting go of what you might be holding on too tightly. And continue to send that healing, releasing energy down your arms. You might think about breathing from your heart center, expanding to the shoulders as you exhale, relaxing the shoulders, arms, and hands. Heart-centered awareness. As you exhale, brushing away any remaining tension, holding discomfort in your shoulders, your arms, and your hands. Feel both shoulders releasing what you might be carrying. Feel both arms heavy and relaxed. With both arms relaxed and heavy, both legs relaxed and heavy, it encourages the rest of the body to also begin to let go. So bringing awareness now to the hips and the pelvis. As you inhale, squeeze the buttocks. The hips might rise a little bit. And as you exhale, set the pelvis down again. One more time. Inhale, squeezing the buttocks. Pelvis lifts a bit. Lower back lengthens. And exhale as you set the pelvis back down. Continue to feel your breath. Each time you exhale, softening, holding in the buttocks, softening through the pelvic floor, any holding in the genital area. We've done lots of work to release the sacrum and the hips this morning, so you should feel a nice sense of ease and flow throughout the hips and the pelvis. Imagine the breath flowing freely to all of your pelvic organs, bringing health and healing. Bring your awareness a little bit higher up into the abdomen and the belly. Be taking a little bit of a larger breath to begin with, fully expanding the abdomen. And then slow exhale, softening through all the layers of the abdomen. And then just let your breath be natural. Each time you exhale, feel that release and softening through all the stuff we hold in our guts. Let that breath move into the inner organs, the digestive system, undoing, unknotting, untangling. Bring your awareness a little bit higher now into the lower rib cage area. Feel the breath as it expands the rib cage. And as you exhale, invite the rib cage to simply settle and release. Perhaps moving deeper and imagining the lungs filling completely with breath and prana. And as you exhale, really take your time. Allow the lungs to completely empty and maybe even rest at the end of the exhale. Allow the inhale to arise naturally from that stillness. And feel the ease of your breath in your lungs. We've spent lots of time this morning expanding and strengthening the lungs. Allow everything to be very soft and passive now. No force, no strain. Bring awareness now up into the chest and the heart center. As you inhale, that sense of lifting and broadening across the collarbones. As you exhale, softening inwards through the layers of tightness or constriction in your heart center. Being patient and kind with your heart this morning. Sending it compassion and gratitude each time you breathe. And feeling the wave of breath all through your upper body and your torso. This effortless wave of breath, just like the ocean. And each time you exhale, invite the back muscles to soften even more. Softening and releasing through the lower back. Softening and releasing through the middle back. Softening and releasing through the upper back, allowing the shoulder blades to dissolve and lie flat. Feel the entire back releasing and letting go. Feeling and sensing into your spine this morning. So follow the triangular shape of the sacrum all the way down into the tailbone. And as you inhale, imagine that healing energy and prana rising all the way up through the spine, right up into the base of the skull. And as you exhale, it flows back down. If you like, you might imagine your spine as a hollow tube and the breath as this pure white light, gently moving up and down your spine, creating a clear pathway for your nervous system. The next time you inhale, inhale all the way up to the base of the skull. But as you exhale, stay there and just allow the back of your head to release into the support of your cushion or whatever your head is resting on. Continue to feel the movement of breath. And bring awareness to your mouth or your jaw. If you like, moisten the lips. Allow the entire jaw area to relax. Let the tongue rest and do nothing. Let go of the need to speak. And bring awareness to the feeling of your ears. And take a moment simply to listen. Be aware of the sounds around you. And having acknowledged the outer sounds, you're free to move inwards. So inhaling the breath, and as you exhale, imagine moving inwards through the inner ear canals, away from outer sounds. Soften the space behind your cheeks. Feel the touch of breath in and out through the nostrils. Soften the inner corners of your eyes, the outer corners of your eyes. And then inhaling the breath. As you exhale, invite the eyes to relax inwards, away from the outer distraction of sight. Tuning in to your inner world. Soften the space between your eyebrows. Smooth out the worry lines in your forehead. Feel the entire face soft and smooth, relaxed, content. And feeling into the sides of the scalp, the top of the scalp, the back of the scalp. And as you exhale, invite the surface of the scalp to relax and soften. Softening through all of your thoughts. And bring awareness back to the feeling of the whole body. And feel a sense of the breath. And as you inhale, imagine your breath being absorbed evenly throughout your body. As you exhale, let it soak in like the moist earth receives the spring rain or snow. There's a sense of receiving the healing energy and prana all through your body to each and every cell. And bring awareness to the feeling of the front of your body, the ripple of movement and breath. And feeling into the space above you, feeling into the vastness of the sky, perhaps imagining the warm sun above you. And as you inhale, receive that beautiful warmth and the sun and the sky energy through the front of your body. As you exhale, let it release through your body and back into the earth. Inhale that beautiful sky energy into the front of your body, exhaling with gratitude back to the earth. Now we're going to reverse that breathing image. So feeling into the back of your body now. You might remember those roots growing out of the back of the body into the earth. And inhale that nourishing earth energy through the back of your body. As you exhale, let it rise up through the front of your body and release like a mist up into the sky. Inhale that nourishing earth energy through the back of the body. Exhale, soft mist dissolving into the sky. As we move deeper into relaxation, you may begin to feel a little bit more light and spacious, as if you could actually dissolve like that mist into the sky. Continue to feel your breath, Joining together with all those on this class, together with all beings everywhere, this sense of dissolving together into the spaciousness of the sky above. And just feel a deep sense of peace spreading all through your body, feeling light, spacious, and peaceful. Resting deeply in this peaceful way of being. Staying still, enjoying the simplicity of just resting in the earth. Begin to extend your sense of listening back out into your space. Noticing the deep sense of peaceful stillness, the letting go. Starting to bring yourself back. Keep your belly soft, your breath smooth, your heart open, your eyes soft, and your mind quiet. You might begin to deepen your breath. And with that deepened breath, perhaps beginning to invite tiny movements into your fingers and your toes, and however else your body wants to move or doesn't. Maybe you just want to stay right here and you're in your own home. You're welcome to do that. Savoring it a little bit longer. Remembering that if you are going to close off your practice now, to transition slowly, rolling over onto your side first and resting there before coming up to a seated posture. And for those of us that are online, and for those of you that will watch it later, I'd like to close with a reading from the Yogic Vedas. It's like a prayer. Peace be to the earth and all airy spaces. Peace be to heaven. Peace be to the waters. Peace to the plants, and peace to the trees. May all beings find peace, and by this invocation, may peace be diffused throughout the world. Honoring your practice, honoring all of who you are, and sending this peace all through the world. Namaste.